Well, here's my question. And you're not on oath.
Behind your back.
Have you used cocaine?
No, I haven't.
All right, so
I've been at home.
then the only other option is you're telling me that there's medication that will cause a positive for cocaine.
I'm not sure. I haven't even drank. I've been at home almost 3 months.
All right.
So it wasn't a shock when you found out that he had been placed on probation for robbery previously?
I didn't know that until now.
Today in Judge Boyd's court, we have a minor who can't stop stealing cars, a guy who's in for his third DUI, and a man who's up for revocation where his girlfriend comes to the hearing and testifies on his behalf and finds out during the hearing that he's been convicted of robbery. If you enjoy Daily Court Watch, go ahead and buy that subscribe button, a cookie, and let's get right into it.
And Gloria Cardenas, if you could please unmute and start video.
Judge, that is Officer Cardenas from our department.
Ah, so we don't have the person from,
No, but she has more information.
all right.
She may be able to provide a little bit more insight.
All right, we're going to go back on the record on 2020 CR 8296, State of Texas versus Noah Nellam. If we're going to have the parties re-announce, please, for the state
Allie Jackson.
defense.
Lindsay Shaw.
And are you Noah Nellam?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have the officer by Zoom. Any objection to Ms. Cardenas testifying by Zoom, state
No, Your Honor.
defense?
No, Judge.
All right, Ms. Cardenas, could
Yes.
you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Gloria Cardenas?
All right, does anyone have any questions for her, or is everyone okay with her testifying in narrative?
I'm fine with narrative, Your Honor.
All right, so we're here on Noah Nellam. I know that the court had ordered for him to be at the facility in Round Rock. Can you just tell us what is happening with him and why he wasn't in the facility in Round Rock?
So the facility in Round Rock has three options. One is group home living, foster care setting, or the individual's home. Previous to this individual home setting where he was placed with his father, he was placed in foster care setting with the foster mother, which he had previously also committed the offense of using unauthorized use of a vehicle. And now that he's being placed with his father, he again committed the same offense.
All right, so this is what I don't understand. We had, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, we had a long hearing over this case by Zoom with the persons who are actually at the Round Rock facility. And they informed the court that he would be staying in a group home, but the group home that he would be staying in would be age appropriate for him because they have some people in the group home who were younger and some people who were older. So there was a tight window of the persons who could be in the group home with him. And I was told by the person who testified that he was going to be in a group home, not in a foster care setting. And then now I'm hearing that he was with his father and not in a group home. So I don't understand. And that's what needs to be explained to me. Why wasn't he in the group home?
That is something I believe, Your Honor, that was brought upon by the group home itself. I don't know if it was the director or if they give the individual the option of maybe having him be placed in a foster care or an individual setting with a family member. That is something that is not done, or they didn't direct it towards or give me information on what was going to be set in place in
All right.
regards to that.
Okay, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to recall this case. Someone from that group home needs to be here because I didn't order him to be anywhere else but the group home. And now we're here. And I'm not going to revoke you because I said I wasn't going to revoke you. But now we're at the point, honestly, where you probably should be revoked because you keep doing the same thing over and over. And I know you come before me, and when we can go off the record, when you come before me, you come in with this, I don't know what's going on. That's the expression you try to give me. But yet you keep taking cars that don't belong to you and you don't follow the court's orders. So we're going to reset this, and somebody from that group home is going to be here to explain to me why you were not in the group home when they said that's where you would be. Why are they placing you in a foster home? Who knows why they're doing that? And then why are you being allowed to live with your father? And nobody got permission from the court for that to happen. And now we are here. So we're going to reset this, and I'm going to reset it for next week. Are you available?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we're going to reset it for next week. And is there any objection to me reaching out to that person from the group home in Round Rock to be here by Zoom?
No, Judge.
All right. Norma, can we reset this for next week? All right, so we're going to recall on the 30th. Officer Cardenas, are you able to be back here on the 30th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and it can be by Zoom. Nobody objects to that?
No, Judge.
All right, so it'll be by Zoom, and I'm going to figure out the time. I'm going to try to call the group home today to see what time they can Zoom in, and then we'll call you and work around your schedule as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Have a seat.
All right, we were here May 23rd. And I know the state had wanted to continue Mr. Nelum, as did the defense. I was swaying back and forth on that. So I asked that the persons at the home he was staying at be present. And so we have that person by Zoom. Both parties said that they would have no objection to the person appearing by Zoom, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Tammy, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Augustine Tamby. I'm the co-owner of the Mafu Home Health, where Mr. Nelum was staying.
All right, does anybody have any questions, or are you all okay with me asking questions?
You, Judge. Yes, Judge.
All right, so I have some questions. I don't understand why the reason changes were made and those changes were not approved by me. So my understanding is that he was staying at a foster home. Who placed him in the foster home and why?
So the program, which Mr. Nelum is, the home and community-based program, it's a program that is based on the individual's choice. We had Mr. Nelum in the group home, and while he was at the group home, his behavior was inconsistent with him living in the group home. So he made a choice that he wanted to live in a foster home where someone would then supervise him, a foster parent would supervise him. And even at that location also, he was not compliant because he was leaving the home unattended. He was given certain period when he's supposed to be home and he's not, getting back home at that time.
All right, so is he allowed to be in a group home? Do y'all have a group home for him? And if I allow him to be with y'all in a group home,
Yes, we do.
Okay, he's not allowed to make choices of whether or not he is leaving the group home and going somewhere else. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have a group home for him?
Yes, we do.
Are you willing to accept him back?
We're willing to accept him, but we'll recommend, if at all, he'll be sent to, because while he was at the group home, he had some problems with drugs, and we would like for him to go to a rehab facility prior to coming to the group home.
All right, do y'all have a rehab facility available for him or no?
We did give him some choices, and he refused to attend.
All right, so this is what's going to end up happening because both parties have agreed for him to remain on probation. He's going to go into inpatient treatment. And then after he finishes with inpatient treatment, will you all be able to pick him up?
Yes, ma'am, we'll
And
be able to
transport
do that.
him.
That's correct.
Probation, is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you for coming in. Probation will be in touch with you when he's about to be released, and I'll put an order in that he's only to be released to a person from your facility.
That's correct.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so we're gonna go off the record. Mr. Lamb, I want you to listen to me and listen to me clearly. You're doing this thing where, oh my gosh, let me look sad and downtrodden. That will only get you so far. It's not going to get you any further with this court anymore. The court considered your age. That is why the state offered you deferred for this case anyway. But if you are able to tell somebody you don't want to stay at a location, you want to stay somewhere else, then you're old enough to face real life consequences for your actions. If you're old enough to go out, find drugs, use drugs, or buy drugs, then you're able to suffer the consequences for your action. If you're able to take without permission the vehicle from your foster family, then you're old enough to deal with consequences. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not come back to this court again for this nonsense. You had better fly straight and narrow. Otherwise, a motion to revoke is going to be entered. And all of this thing where people are feeling sorry for you, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what you're supposed to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are going into an inpatient treatment facility for whatever drug issues you may have. And then once you complete that program, they're going to pick you up and you're going to be in their home. And you're not going to a foster home. You're going to be in that group home and you're going to follow their rules. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you want to leave that home, guess what? You have to get permission from this court. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else?
Not from defense judge.
All right, probation, what inpatient treatment do you want him in?
I said.
All right, so I'll deny the motion, alternate amend conditions. And we can go back on the record. I'm going to deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include state ISF substantive track, and he's to be released upon completion to the MOFU home only. Is that MOEHU?
Yep. MAOFU.
MAOFU.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Is there anything you don't understand about my instructions? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Court is calling 2024 CR 7889A, State of Texas versus Jonathan Lopez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar with the state of Texas.
Defense?
Linda Corley for defense.
Are you Jonathan Lopez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review a document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Jonathan Lopez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2014 CR 7889A for the offense of robbery on February 2nd, 2015 for a term of 10 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ovidio Lopez, who's in there, failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January and December 2022 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to 10,000, I'm sorry, up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 5. Is there a proposed agreement?
Your Honor, it's both sides want to go to open.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, state requesting revocation 8 years TBC.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we have a witness here as well, if you feel that you need her.
Oh, let's
we're
call the
request-
witness.
Okay. Mr. Vance. I call Alondra Mata.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you're gonna need to keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the record.
Alondra Mata.
All right, off the record for a moment. To the interpreter, I'm gonna take you up as soon as this witness is done.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right, we're back on the record. Defense,
Thank you, Judge. Can you spell your first name for the court reporter, please? Alondra. And how do you know Mr. Lopez?
He's my boyfriend,
And how long have you been together?
a year and a half
Okay. And in that year and a half, where has he lived?
with me.
And during that time, was he working?
Yes, he's been working and
All right. And did he go to work every day?
yes,
All right. Has he been helping with bills and all your living expenses as well?
yes, he makes my car payment, pays half of the rent and buys the food.
And during that time, were you aware that he was supposed to be reporting to probation?
No, I wasn't aware in the beginning.
All right, and so now you're aware that he had that requirement. You understand that we're here today because the state has filed a motion to revoke his deferred.
Yes,
All right. And you understand that means that at this point, he's not convicted felon. So we're here today to ask the judge if she would consider allowing him to stay on deferred. So can you tell the judge a little bit about your experiences with him, with the responsibility and how he's been doing since he's been with you?
yes. Jonathan has been with me for a year and a half. When I met him, he was already working. We moved in together and he's been helping me pay the bills. From what I've been with him this time, he's been doing good. He hasn't done anything that shows, that he's going back to what he used to be. The person that I met is not what I know today. That was something in his past, so.
If the judge were to allow him to have another opportunity not to go to prison, why do you think that he would follow the rules at this point?
I think he's in a better place now, and I've never been in trouble, so I don't allow anything bad to, for him to do. So therefore, I know for sure that if he's with me, he's not gonna be doing anything wrong.
And you understand that he had used marijuana and we waived those violations, but how do you feel about that?
He's not smoking and he's not going to.
Okay. If he was, would you report him?
Yes, he knows that.
Would you be there to help him to keep track of all the things that he needs to do?
Yes, I've been helping him with that as well. He's been checking in and on his own, doing what he has to do. So he's been doing pretty good.
I'll pass the witness.
I just have a few questions. It looks like it was a shock whenever you found out he was on probation then.
Not as a shock, but when I found out, I did tell him, like, you have to do the right thing now. And this is what he's been doing since he's been with me. So as far as when he got arrested, he's been following all the rules, and I hope, that's what he's gonna continue to do if he's with me.
So it wasn't a shock when you found out that he had been placed on probation for robbery previously.
I didn't know that until now.
So he never once informed you of that.
No, not until I found out.
So you found that out when he was arrested on this charge?
Yes.
And based on what you knew of him, was it a surprise that he would have had a case like that?
It is because he's a good man. He really is. So when I found out what it was, I didn't believe it, but he's with me and he's been doing good. So I think that's the person that he's trying to be from now on.
No more questions, Your Honor.
I have a few questions. When did you meet him?
January of 2023.
Where did you meet him?
I met him on social media.
All right. And when you met him, when did he tell you he was on probation? Did he ever tell you?
No, he didn't tell me that he was on probation. He was working, so we just, continue like.
Well, no, how did you
boyfriend,
find out he was on probation?
girlfriend. Not too long ago,
When he got arrested?
yes,
All right. And then that's when he told you he was on probation?
yes,
All right. Do you have any children?
yes.
What are their ages?
17 and 21.
All right. And then you said that he pays the bills?
Yes,
All right. Do you pay any of the bills?
yes, I do. I have a job.
All right. And this marijuana use, did you know he was using marijuana?
No.
Oh.
In the beginning, I knew, but he stopped.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Judge, I would like to call Mr. Lopez.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jonathan Ovidio Lopez.
All right. Defense?
Thank you, Judge. Jonathan, you know this, we're here in front of the judge, and this is your third NTR, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you've had problems while you've been on probation when you started, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us about what was the underlying cause of those?
I was at the time, I was in a very dark place, and I had lost my jobs and went through a major breakup with the mother of my children, and I just felt like everything was, everything was just on top of me, and I was in a dark place, and I was using marijuana as a dumb decision instead of reaching out for help and getting help from the state and myself. I put myself in a bigger holes than I was already in.
And you went to outpatient treatment, right? And you completed that successfully once, and you went a second time, and you did not complete that second time.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened there?
I just was, I was out of work and stuff, and I was embarrassed of like asking for help, and I just didn't. My phone had broke, and I didn't continue with the Zoom.
So at some point, you started climbing out of your depression. What was the catalyst for that? What changed in your life?
I started going back to church, and seeing my kids was, it gave me hope again to do everything that I needed to do and get back on track.
And on your prior NTRs, you had turned yourself in, and on this NTR, you knew you had a warrant. At some point, you went to turn yourself in. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so you went to the sheriff's office
Yes, ma'am.
and you identified yourself, and they told you to wait.
Yes, ma'am.
So you waited there for some time,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you made a decision to leave. You got scared. Why did you leave?
I was there for about an hour. Everybody called me, and I made the stupid decision just to leave instead of waiting for them to come get me. And I made a dumb decision, and I left, and here I am back in court.
So you began working once you started seeing your kids and you started pulling yourself out of the depression. You started working again. Where did you work?
With my uncle doing roofing.
Okay. After you were arrested, he didn't want you to come back to work for him. Can you explain why that was?
He was dealing with his own problems with probation and other stuff, and he just didn't want me to affect with whatever he had going on.
And did that have something to do with your ankle monitor?
A little bit, because where he goes, we go to like certain places, and he didn't want for me to be on monitor and go to like certain places that he needs to go, like his bases and different stuff, for them to decline his contracts and stuff.
Okay. And so at some point you met Alondra,
Yes, ma'am.
and how did that change your life?
She's a good person, and we started going to church, and I feel like she's pushing me to be a better person than I was, and she motivates me to be a better person.
You know, this is your third MTR, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Why should the judge give you another chance after she's already given you 2 chances? What's different now that you can assure her that if she does give you this chance, that you're not going to give her another reason to put you in prison, that you can be an upstanding citizen and continue working and being a good force in the community?
Before all this that I'm going through is, I was young. The case is over about 10 years old, and after that, I haven't picked up any new cases, and I haven't gotten like major trouble since then. And I know I made stupid decisions along the way when not reporting, doing the UAs and stuff. But I was using marijuana as, could I say, like coping mechanism, when instead of I should have asked for help and asked my probation officer for different ways. And I made dumb choices instead of
But you had
doing the
help.
right thing and going to,
So you had help, but you blew that, right? You'd had the outpatient and you messed that up. What was your mental condition at that point?
I was just in the dark place. I wasn't thinking correctly.
And you had picked up a couple of a possession of marijuana, shoplifting, and a driving while license invalid at some point during your probation, correct?
Yes, but that was over 7 years ago.
Okay. And so are you using marijuana now?
No, ma'am.
If you were to test, would you test clean?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand the judge could send you for testing if she wants.
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness.
State.
Just a few questions, sir. So you never told Alondra about the fact that you were on probation, did you?
I told her that I was in trouble, but she really didn't believe me until I recently got incarcerated.
Did you ever explain exactly what you meant by being in trouble?
I kind of like explained it to her, but she just didn't believe because she didn't see that person. And I explained to her, and I would explain to her, and I told her that I need to make enough money to get a lawyer because I'm in, major trouble. And she didn't believe it. And when all this happened, when I recently got incarcerated, and I guess she saw for herself, when I came home, she still don't believe that. But I told her it was something that it's over 10 years ago. I believe everybody has a second chance or deserves a second chance.
You would agree that you've already had 2 prior MTRs, right?
Yes, sir.
So would that have been your first and second chance?
Yes, sir.
No more questions, please sit.
All right, anything else?
Nothing, Judge.
Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court is going to find you guilty. Grant the motion. You all want to speak to time?
Your Honor, state's still gonna recommend yours.
Defense.
Judge, may I address the court about the issue? I understand that we can throw him in prison.
All right, so counsel, I will hear your issue, but here's the thing. I know that I'm not the person who placed him on probation because he was placed on probation in 2015. But since that time, you've had motions to revoke with me. And I know that I tell everybody, if there is an issue, let your probation officer know. If you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court. He's just disappeared. And I'm sure everybody has read the court summary. He's disappeared. And I internalized everything that was said to me. And you know what usually happens, Mr. Lopez? people will call witnesses to come in. And you know what? It's always the witness acting as though they're on probation. I'm going to make sure this person doesn't use marijuana. I'm going to make sure this person reports for probation. They're not on probation. You are. All you had to do was report. And guess what? If you're testing positive for marijuana, it is rare that I revoke somebody for testing positive for marijuana. I let them know. I know marijuana is legal in other states. If you want to make it legal in Texas, contact your legislature. But while you're on probation here, you're not allowed to use marijuana. And I know the last time we were here, you know, on your motion to revoke, where you were continued, I said those exact things to you. And now when everything comes to a head where somebody has a motion to revoke and they wouldn't report it, all of a sudden, everybody has their life together. I'm married. I'm engaged. I'm with a lady. I never told her I was on probation because you know what ends up happening? Guys, when they end up with women, sometimes women will fall in love with you. Maybe they're falling in love with your publicist. Maybe you haven't presented your full self. But I know usually when women fall in love with the guy and they don't know all of this history, then they get hit with the history. And guess what? They're still in love with that guy, just like the witness who came to testify for you. She's still in love with you. She still wants to do everything to keep you out and about. But you're not a good candidate for probation. I don't consider it throwing you away. You can still do good things when you come out of prison. I'm not going to sentence you to 8 years in prison because you have done some things on probation, but I'm not continuing you on probation. So you're going to be found guilty. I'm going to revoke you. I'm going to give you credit for any time served. I'm going to suggest the therapeutic community. There's going to be no contact with Maria, Ahmed, and James Tristan. I'm going to order the removal of GPS because you're going to be in custody. They've asked for 8. I'm not sentencing him to 8 years. I'm not going to sentence him to the minimum. So what are you asking for?
Judge, I would ask for 3 to 4. He did make an effort. He has turned himself in the past, so he's not somebody who keeps absconding and not putting himself forward. Judge, he has followed all the rules. He could have run. He didn't run. When I went and talked with him this morning, we talked seriously about the fact that this may very well happen. And he didn't run, Judge. He didn't leave. I've had clients to just run out the door. He didn't do that. He still stood here to face. So although he made some bad decisions and he didn't handle things well, I think he has improved his life. And I understand that you may not believe that, but I've talked a lot with Alondra.
Oh, no, I believe he's improved his life.
Very, very stable. And so he hasn't been living under a bridge or using hard drugs or living off of other people, and he's been working. So I would ask, given that you give him 3 to 4 years, Judge.
All right, I'll sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because you have a limited right to appeal. And that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you're on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. I hope you understand the reason why you're being sent to prison is because your actions. It's not because of the person you were with. At some point in time, we cannot just go off and live our lives and pretend like we're not on probation. And when you tell me I haven't picked up any new charges, there are a whole host of people in this courtroom who haven't picked up any new charges. When you tell me, oh, I've stopped using drugs, there's a whole host of people who are abiding by the rules and not using drugs. The fact that you have not picked up any new charges, yeah, that's something I'll consider. But it's not the be all, the end all, because you shouldn't be picking up new charges anyway. So when you're released from the prison, I realize prison time is difficult time. Anytime you're locked up is difficult time, but you need to stay on the straight and narrow. If she ends up waiting for you, then she'll end up waiting for you. Make sure you don't bring any problems to her doorstep. Don't go to prison and get institutionalized. When you come out, if you feel like you're going to use drugs or you need help finding a place that could help you with any drug issues or whatever issues you may have. If I'm still here, you can come back and I'll make sure that you get that help. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Who's here? Are you all ready on Sergio Chavez? Court is calling 2015 CR 2807, State of Texas versus Joe Blake. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Casey Garrett, Your Honor.
for the defense?
And Mark Darling for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Blake?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did.
Are you the same Joe Cassius Blake, who was placed on community supervision in 2015 CR 2807 for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on September 14th, 2015 for a period of 5 years and extended for a total of 4 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. Highlight condition number 5, in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Joe Casillas Blake did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer in person or through virtual means, i.e. Zoom, for the months of June and July 2020 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Your Honor, we'll waive the remaining violated condition.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, off the record for a moment. Zach, if you could let Brian know that his client will still need to be served with that order, so his client shouldn't leave until that's done.
Okay, yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Blake, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $1,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, sir.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There it is, Your Honor, and it is to grant the motion, revoke the individual officer's probation, and to reform the underlying sentence of 10 years to 5 years.
Is that your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what we're hoping you consider.
All right, Mr. Blake, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you'll state your name.
Joe C. Blake.
All right, you can lower your hand. What happened? Why didn't you successfully complete this probation?
Going through rough times, lost my job, got separated from my wife, and just everything was going.
Okay, you realize that you can't go back to drinking. You understand?
Yes.
I'm going to follow your agreement. I'll request the therapeutic community because I see that you were given inpatient treatment, but you didn't successfully complete it. So I'll follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. And I'll ask for the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community doesn't increase the time that you're in custody. So the 5 years you received, if you're still working on things in the therapeutic community, they're not going to hold you. You understand? So it's just to help you hopefully be better when you're released. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you're released from custody, don't go back to drinking. If you cannot find an inpatient treatment place, if you need one, or if you need an outpatient treatment place and you can't find it, you can always come back to court if I'm here and I'll direct you where to go, okay? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge. And I apologize for, I forgot to come back. I had a hearing at 1:30.
All right. Yes, probation.
Judge, we're here regarding a compliance hearing that was stated on the supplemental report. Judge, the CSO requested allow removal of the GPS device, require compliance and progress of conditions within 60 days, otherwise set for a compliance hearing. So that's why we're here. It appears that since January, Mr. Torres really hasn't made much progress in regards to his conditions to include providing proof of income, parenting class, victim impact panel, DWI intervention, sober support meetings, and an affidavit of non-driving. He was instructed to submit UAs on 2 occasions, and he failed to submit those in February and in March. He did present a negative in April. However, today we did obtain a positive UA for cocaine.
For medication.
No, cocaine doesn't,
I take 18. Take Trazodone, Adderall, Seroquel, Xanax.
so you're saying there's a prescribed medication
Well, I
out there
think
that,
I don't-
no, stop. You're telling me that stop chewing gum.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're telling me that there's a prescribed medication out there that would give a false positive for cocaine?
I haven't
No.
done nothing. I haven't
No.
done nothing.
My question is that what you're telling me?
I'm not a doctor. I'm not sure. But with all due respect,
Well, here's my question. And you're not on oath. Have you used cocaine?
no, I haven't.
All right, so
I've been at home.
then the only other option is you're telling me that there's medication that will cause a positive for cocaine.
I'm not sure. I haven't even drank. I've been at home almost 3 months.
All right.
And I take 18 medications. I have all my papers from my doctor prescribed too. I haven't done nothing. I
All
haven't
right.
even drank.
All right. So I'm not removing it. I can't be removing GPS when somebody's testing positive for cocaine.
I don't know what to say. I just been at home almost
Alright.
3 months.
So, I mean, it's
I
not
can't
getting
even step out of
removed.
the door, so,
It's not getting removed.
okay. If you like, I could give you all the documents of my medication. Like, I don't do it.
I don't know of any medication that will
Yeah,
cause you to,
I don't know what it would do.
defense attorneys.
Sorry.
Is there any medication that you all know of that would give me a positive for cocaine? Kanee's gonna come up with an answer.
Trazodone, Seroquel, Adderall, Xanax. I take a lot. Seroquel. I have all prescribed.
Here's the
medication.
thing, Seroquel doesn't
Yeah,
give,
but next to me, I take them every day because I have anxiety.
no, that doesn't, none of those drugs give
I
you
don't know. I
false,
haven't done it. I haven't.
but this is what I'm telling you. Sometimes, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. Maybe there's a new medication out there. That's why I asked the defense
I'm not saying there
attorneys.
is, but I haven't done nothing. I've been in my house already almost 3 months. I can't go step out of foot, so.
Mhm.
I haven't even drank. I haven't even drank.
All right, probation. This is what the court is gonna do. I'm not removing GPS. And he's gonna be subject to the UA hotline. Here's the thing, if you have a drug or alcohol issue, guess what? We can work with you on that. I can figure out something that could help you with that. But I'm not removing GPS. And so we're gonna do the UA hotline.
What is that?
Yes. All right, and then I'm gonna, your TAP evaluation recommended outpatient treatment. So we're gonna do dual diagnosis. Outpatient treatment.
Then I've been getting random visits from the clubs, like big one, like every.
And we're gonna do 120 sober meetings and 120 days.
Sure.
All right, so here's the thing. I want you to be successful on probation. If I didn't want you to be successful on probation, I wouldn't have agreed for you to be on probation.
Sure.
So you have got to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Guess what? Where you are now, hopefully this is not where you're going to end up, where you're positive for cocaine all the time.
Yeah.
All of us, me included, we're all trying to be better people and improve our lives, right? Nobody's
Yes, ma'am.
perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to have to not use drugs because you're on probation. You're not allowed to. Do you understand? And don't come before any other judge. If you're before a judge, telling them that you're positive for cocaine is because of your prescription medication. All right, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, probation. Is there anything else? All right, good luck to you. If you need something, let the court know.